All right, time for the daily break and run. So this is kind of sort of a cut break, but I actually miss it a little bit. Um, so today I'm going to do something a little different. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Basically, what I'm going to do is, in addition to the break and run and how the run stopped, I'm going to add some of the better shots that I made during the practice session to the end of the video. So there's some good shots on the end, and I'll talk through those as well. All right, so here I'm going to use the 7 to stop the cue ball. I really don't have a choice. There's just not a way to get on the 2 without hitting the 7. So just like yesterday, this one's close to the rail, and I've got the same shot on the 3 that I had yesterday, but the two's not on the rail. So I'm going to hit it a little differently. I'm going to hit it just a little bit harder and get my leave. Now, coming off the 3 here, I have to hit the 5. There's no way to avoid it. So I'm going to try to hold the cue ball and just bump the 5 towards the pocket. Here, back and forth across the table, pretty standard shot. Now on the 6, where I left the 6, I can't go forward, which is what I would have really liked to have done here, because the 9's in the way. So I'm going to have to draw this across the line of the 7. And speed control still an issue. This is the worst place I could possibly be. Uh, I'm on the 50-yard line. I can't single bank. This is the first time in a year and a half that I have chosen to deliberately make the 2 rail in the side shot. And that's because it was the only way to make the shot and get the leave. That shot, just not a great shot to shoot. In this case, it was unavoidable. I was on the 50-yard line, the 1 rail bank, the cue runs into the 8. So I really just didn't have a choice. Okay, so going through this rack while it's racking, don't forget, like, subscribe, ding the notification bell. And please let me know in the comments if you like the extra shots on the end of the daily break and run. Okay, so cut break. And as many of my runs end, I just don't get a good place on the 1. In a tournament or in a real game, I would play to duck the cue ball. I would either bank the 1 ball in behind the 5-4-2-6 mess and leave the cue ball about where it is right now, or I would thin the 1 and leave the cue ball up there behind that mess. Either way, I'd use those 4 balls as blocking balls. But since this is practice and I'm trying to get out, I'm going to go ahead and go for the thin cut, and I do miss it. All right, so this is an interesting series. So that was a carom combo, and here this one is just an incredibly thin cut. Unfortunately, the 5 bumps the 3 over. This is I would call this one of the hardest straight cut shots in the game of pool. You're cutting down the rail past the side pocket. And I do make it. Unfortunately, I make the 4, but I get a leave where I have to try that 5-7 combo, and it doesn't work. All right, coming up, this is easily the most difficult shot I had in practice that I made. Um, how would you make this? You're blocked by the 7. The 2 ball is blocking the 2 rail. You could go 1 rail to the 1 up and down the table. You could go side to side for the 1. How would you leave? How would you make this? Um, I personally am looking at this and I'm saying, if I hit this just right, I can get the cue to come out just past the 7 on the 2. Um, but as it was, I ended up behind the 7 and couldn't, and ended up in a safety battle with myself on the 2 ball. All right, so this one's really interesting because the side pocket is exactly where I need to be to make the one. Um, so I'm going to use bottom left English. I'm going to use the bottom to widen the cue ball off the rail and hit past the side pocket. So this is I'm kind of sort of stunning off the rail there, and I do get the leave on the two. I don't know how this happens. If you tried to do what's about to happen deliberately, there is no way you'd ever make it. No, there is no player that would make this shot deliberately. But somehow it happens more times than you would possibly imagine. I'm going to cut the two down in the pocket on the bottom left, and of course you have to let the cue ball go when you hit that thin. Look at this, off the rail, off the six, off the four, into the corner. How does that happen?